Probability is a measure of the certainty that a required event will occur. Take note of the word measure. That means you are attempting to give a numeric value to how certainly an event will happen. If I'll tell you rain will fall today, how certainly will that be? If it will happen for sure, then the probability is 1. If the event must occur, the probability is 1. If the event cannot occur, then that means it's an impossible event. The probability is 0. So that's all I want you to learn in this first episode. For instance, the probability of obtaining a 7 at the throw of a die is 0. We all know die only has 6 faces. How can we have 7 when we throw a die? It's not possible. So the probability is 0. The probability of waking up on the 8th day of a week is 0. We know we don't have up to 8 days in a week. So the probability is 0. It's not possible to wake up on the 8th day of a week. The probability of having a Wednesday after a Tuesday is 1. Of course, we all know Wednesday is the next day. When you sleep on a Tuesday, you wake up on Wednesday. So that would be 1. The probability of obtaining a face less than 7 at the throw of a die is 1. Of course, we know that the numbers you obtain when you throw a die will always be less than 7. So the probability of obtaining a number less than 7 when you throw a die is 1, because it must happen. So let's see in these questions what exactly would be correct. What is the probability of finding an elephant flying with feathers? I've not seen one. I'm not sure they exist. So the answer is 0. What is the probability of obtaining face 8 at the throw of a standard 6-sided die? You can't get 8 when you throw a die. So the probability of getting 8 is 0. What is the probability that 12 is an even number? 12 is surely an even number, so the probability is 1. What is the probability of writing a WAEC exam on a Sunday morning? I think that's 0. WAEC exams don't come on Sundays. What is the probability of having a 3-year-old SS3 student? That's 0. Alright, so this is exactly what it's like to understand the probability of an event that must occur and an event that can never occur. Okay, I want you to try this out yourself. You can pause this video and write out the answers to these questions. In this next episode, I want to show you the likely values of probability questions. Probability values ranges from 0 to 1. That means every time you give an answer to a probability question, we're expecting that answer not to be greater than 1 and not to be negative, not to be less than 0. So you see, all these are possible answers to probability questions: 3/10, 0.2, but something like 23 over 10 is already bigger than 1. So it cannot be a possible answer. It cannot be appropriate answer to a probability question. 3 also cannot be an appropriate answer to a probability question. Simple reason is that 3 is greater than 1. Probability can also be written as a percentage. In that case, simply multiply the result you get by 100. That's if you have 3 over 10 as a probability answer. If you're asked to represent it in percentage, you just go 3 over 10. You have 3 over 10 times 100, and that should give you times 100%, and that should become 30%. So that's it. So that will be 30%. So that is why you multiply by 100. And you'll notice that you can't get any answer above 100% because the number here is always going to be less than 1. All right, let's answer these questions. Which of these is an appropriate probability value? It's going to be this 0.5 because it's less than 1. Why this is not appropriate is not because it's greater than 1. Which of these is an appropriate probability value? It's going to be 1 over 7. This is not appropriate at all. You know, all proper fractions are less than 1, while improper fractions like these are greater than 1. So this cannot be the answer. Which of these is an appropriate probability value? Just check for the one whose numerator is less than the denominator, and that's this. So this is correct. So, but this is not correct. Which of these is an appropriate probability value? 0.003 is less than 1, and this is not, so this is not correct. Which of these is an appropriate probability value? 9 over 5 is not, 5 over 9 it is, so this is correct. So I'll be giving you 5 questions also to answer and add to the questions you're submitting when you submit your assignment after this lesson. And these are the questions. So you go ahead and answer these. Just bring out their answers. Let's have them. You can pause the video and take this down. Our next episode is on idea of probability as a fraction. In primary school, there is a key lesson you learn where you learn about you learn in primary school about shaded and unshaded fraction, shaded and unshaded sectors, and you will usually ask fraction of the shaded region, fraction of the unshaded region, and so on. If you still recall, when you are asked for fraction of the shaded portion, you have to count the shaded regions 1, 2, 3, and then count all the regions, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that will give you the total regions. So what you now do is fraction of the shaded portion would be number of shaded portions over total number of portions, and that would be 3 over 8. That's what you actually do when you're trying to measure or calculate the probability of an event occurring or not. Same way, if you were asked fraction of unshaded portion, you will count them. There are just 5 of them, and then you'll divide by all the sectors, which are 8 of them, and that's why you have 5/8. So here comes the definition of probability. Probability of an event is equal to number of required events over the total number of events. So that's it. Number of required events all over total number of events. So let's play with this first question. Probability of picking a red ball if this is a display of the colors of balls in a bag, for example. What would have been the probability of picking a red ball? Just count the number of red balls divided by the total number of balls. So in this case, we'll count the number of red colors here, which are 3, divided by all the balls, all the colors you find here, which are 8. So you have 3/8. In the same way, the probability of having a green ball would be the number of green balls here, which are 5 of them. And so you have 5/8. And so that's 5/8. So that's it. The question we just answered is actually this. It says if a bag contains 3 red balls and 5 green balls, then the probability of picking a red ball will be calculated as follows. So we just represented it in form of shaded and unshaded region, in form of sectors of a circle. But what we're actually solving was just a word problem of a bag that contains 3 red balls and 5 green balls. Okay, so now I want us to go ahead and answer these questions. Let's see how we would answer them. A class consists of 20 boys and 25 girls. What is the probability that the first student to arrive at the class on a Monday morning is a boy? And we're going to get 20 divided by 45, because the number of boys are 20 and the number of girls are 25. So the addition of 20 and 25 will be 45. So when you strike this out, you have 5 dividing both of them, and that should be 4/9. And so that's it. So we got 4/9, and that's this. So our answer is 4/9. A box contains 5 pencils and 8 barrels. If an item is picked at random, what's the probability that it is a barrel? The number of barrels here are 8, so we'll go with 8. And how many items are there altogether? 13 items. 5 plus 8. So that should be 8/13. So that's the answer. So 8/13 is the correct answer. A crate of minerals have 20 Coke and 4 Fanta bottles. If a drink is picked at random means without watching what you're going to do, you just picked a drink at random. What is the probability that it is a Fanta? That it is Fanta? That it is Fanta depends on the number of Fanta bottles there. So there are just 4 Fanta bottles. So you go 4/9 the total number of bottles that are there. You have 20 Coke and 4 Fanta bottles. So the total is going to be 20 plus 4, which is 24. So if you would divide this by 4 and you divide this by 4, you're going to get 1 over 6. And that's this. A hunter shoots at once. A hunter shoots once at a group of 2 white bears and 5 black bears of the same sizes. If a bird got killed, what's the probability that it is a white bird? It's a white bird depends on the number of white bears that are there. There are just 2 white birds, so we're going to have that to be 2 over the total number of birds that are there. There are 2 white birds and 5 black birds, so the total number of birds there should be 2 plus 5, and that should be 7. 2 over 7. So that's correct. Probability of picking a good egg by chance. Picking a good egg by chance would mean the total number of good eggs over the total number of eggs in the crate. So how many good eggs are there here? 10. And how many eggs are there altogether? 30. So our answer should be 10 over 30. So 10 over 30 should become 1 out of 3, because this can go with this, and so we have 1 over 3. So that's the answer. In the next episode right away. Okay, these are the questions. Write them. You can pause the video right now and do them, and submit while you're submitting others. In this next episode, I want to show you what to do when you are faced with or when you are faced with questions bordering on terms like or and neither, not, nor, and all such terminologies. We still will get to a stage where we would show you how to relate with them, like telling you all is for addition and not is 1 minus the probability and so on. But right now I want to show you how to think about questions on probability even when you are not having to use a particular method to know which what you should do to the probability question, like adding them and so on and so forth. Now let's see this question. We have a question here, just directly is a question on okay, we have this question here. A bag contains 4 red, 5 blue and 12 white balls. If a ball is picked at random, find the probability that it is a red ball, a blue, a white ball, a red or a blue ball, a red or a white ball, not a red ball, not a white ball, neither a red nor a blue ball. Okay, to make it easier, I brought them out like this in these colors so you can easily count them. So let's imagine that they are displayed like this inside the bag, and you want to pick them at random, not knowing which one you will pick. So for the first question, probability of picking a red ball would be the number of red balls that are here divided by the total number of balls. So clearly there are 4 red balls here, so your answer should be 4 over 21. Of course there are 21 balls altogether, and you can see that from what we have here. They said 4 red balls, so we can go 4 red balls, 5 blue balls, so 4 plus 5, and then we also have 12 white balls, so plus 12, so that will be 21. So that's where we got the 21 from. So 21 is the total number of balls, and we just have 4 red balls. So the probability of picking a red ball should be 4 over 21. The next question is probability of picking a blue ball. There are 5 blue balls here, as you can see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue balls. So the probability of picking a blue ball would just be 5 over 21, because there are 21 balls altogether. And then for the white balls, probability of picking a white ball would be the number of white balls over the total number of balls. They said it already that there are 12 white balls. And so if we have 12 white balls, we will just go 12 divided by 21, and that will be 4 over 7, because 3 into 12 is 4, 3 into 21 is 7. Our next question is probability of picking a red or blue ball. Now, for red or blue ball, I want you to think it this way: a chance and you would win 1 million naira. And they say, if you can pick a red or a blue ball out of this bag, you get a millionaire. Now, what would you be praying to pick? How many balls in that bag would be your prayer point? Let's see. If you pick a red or a blue ball, you win. That means all the red balls are in support of your winning, and all the blue balls are in support of your winning. So the number of balls altogether that are in support of your winning would be 9 balls, because the blue balls and the red balls are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So there are just 9 of them, and that's why we would go with 9 over 21. So showing that you have 9 chances for red or blue balls out of 21 balls altogether. So your answer should be 3 over 7. Now, in the next case, it is a red or white ball. The same way you put all the red and white balls together, and that will give you the total number of balls that you need to win. So, what's the sum of the red or white balls? The red balls are 4, the white balls are 12. So 4 plus 12 is 16. So that's why our answer is 16 over 21. Then the next one is probability that is not a red ball. The number of balls here that are not red are 17, because there are 21 balls, 4 are red. That means the other 17 balls, whatever color they are, is not our business right now. What we just want to be sure of is that they are not red. So if they are not red, then we count them. So if you go ahead and count all the 4 red balls out of the 21 balls, you'll be left with 17 balls that are not red. So that is why our answer will be 17. So you have 17 over 21 as the appropriate answer. The next one is number of balls that are not white, not a white ball. Check also, there are 12 white balls. Out of 21 balls, it means the remaining 9 are not white. So expect the answer to be 9 over 21, and that is 3 over 7 when you reduce the fraction. And then you also have neither a red nor a blue ball. Check the number of balls here that are neither red nor blue. Because they are just 3 colors, if they are neither red nor blue, then they will be white. So that means all the white balls. But if there were more than 3 colors, then neither red nor blue would be all the other colors apart from the red or blue colors. So that's why you have 12 colors that are neither red nor blue, and that will be 4/7. All right, so we're going to answer such questions with this table right here, and let's do this to get it more clearly. Now, the first one is going to be, you look through this table, you see there are colors of balls here itemized and the number of balls for each color. So what we want to do is answer these questions with this table. A ball is picked at random. Find the probability that it is white. How many white balls are here? 2. How many balls are here altogether? Let's see. 2 plus 5 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18. So 2/18 is 1/9. So that's 2 out of 18, since the total balls are 18. So you get 1/9. So that's the answer. So that's correct. A ball is picked at random. Find the probability that it is red. How many red balls are here? 5 red balls. So you get 5/18 because there are 18 balls altogether. A ball is picked at random. Find the probability that it is blue. Blue balls here are 3. So we have them here. So that will be 3/18. 3/18 should be 1/6 because 3 here is 1, 3 here is 6. So that will be 1/6, and that's this. A ball is picked at random. Find the probability that it is neither red nor white. If it is neither red nor white, that means it will be blue or black. And how many blue and black balls are there altogether? We have 3 plus 8, and that will be 11. So you have it here, 11/18 balls. And lastly, a ball is picked at random. Find the probability that it is not black. How many black balls are here? There are 8 black balls. So not black means all the other balls. And all the other balls are 2, 5, and 3. There are 10 balls that are not black. So that should be 10/18. So 10/18 should now become 5/9. So that's correct. 5/9. So this is correct. All right, I'll also be leaving some questions like this for you, and that's it. So you also copy this, do them, and submit them as you submit the other work I have already given you. Next episode would be on the use of not in probability. We already used it in this previous episode we just did, but now I want to show you by way of formula what you should do when you get to find the word not and how you can get the probability out of it. Now let's fall back to the example I gave earlier before, where we had 3 red colors and 5 green colors, and what we did was the the probability for the red colors we made were 3/8, and the probability for the green colors was 5/8. Okay, so now if I have said what's the probability that the color is not red, now you would have counted the green colors, right? So that's how it is. You would have said 5/8 for not red. But now I should show you that what you may have done by formula should just be probability of red colors should be added to probability of not red colors, not red, and all that would give you 1. So that's the formula. Okay, so whenever you are asked for probability of whatever is not a particular event, just take it that the answer would be 1 minus the probability of that event. Because if you make probability of not red the subject of this formula, you will be taking this to the other side of the equation, and that will become negative. So probability of not red is 1 minus probability of having a red color. So that's just it. So you can see in the description right here that probability of shaded plus probability of not shaded equal to 1. Therefore, probability of not shaded is 1 minus probability of shaded. Bag containing 4 red balls and 5 black balls. Find the probability of randomly picking a ball that is not red. The red balls are 4/9, the probability. So the probability of not red ball will be 1 minus 4/9, which is 5/9. So that's how it is done. Let's come here. You would understand more from these questions. Let's take it here. Now we have this question. The probability of plucking a mango fruit is 1/10. What's the probability of not getting it plucked? That will be 1 minus probability of getting it plucked, which is 1/10. So probability of not is 1 minus probability of having it done. So 1 minus 1/10 can become 1/1 minus 1/10. The LCM will be 10, and that will be 1 divided by 1 divide 10 is 10. 10 times 1 is 10. 10 divide 10 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So what you have then is 9/10. So if you have 9/10, that is the answer. A box contains 3 blue, 4 red, and 5 black barrels. A barrel is picked at random. What is the probability that it is not a black barrel? If it's a black barrel, then it should have been 5 over total number of balls, which are 3 plus 4 plus 5, and that is 12. So for it to be not a black barrel, then the answer should be 1 minus 5/12. So 1 minus 5/12, just go about it like we did before. You'll be out with 7/12. So that's it. So that's the answer. The next one is, there are 2 chances out of 21 for a moving car to hit a wall. What are the chances that it will not hit the wall? Of course, it will be 19 out of 21. That's to just let you see how these other ones, actually you could have easily just said 1 minus 5/12 simply means take 5 chances out of 12, you'll be left with 7, and that's how you can easily subtract a proper fraction from 1. The probability that a boy will be made the next class prefect is 9/10. What's the probability that a boy will not be the next class prefect? That would be 9/10 away from 1, and that should be 1/10. So this is 9/10. 1 minus 9/10 should be 1/10. So that's correct. The probability of raising a 1 million naira today is 1/100. What's the probability of not raising a 1 million naira today? It should be 99/100. So that's it. That is it. That is it. So you also have to do your own questions. I want you to take note of the next set of questions. You also have to write them and do them. You may have to pause the video to get them written. So you have to submit them when you're done with all the other assignments.